Arkansas. A journey through history. Welcome to this video on the rich and varied history of Arkansas, one of the most fascinating states in the American South. From its early Native American roots to its critical role in major American historical events, Arkansas offers a unique glimpse into the evolution of the United States. Join us as we explore the key eras, figures, and events that shaped Arkansas into the state we know today. 1. Pre-colonial and Native American history. Long before European settlers arrived in what is now Arkansas, the region was home to various Native American tribes, each with their own unique cultures, economies, and political structures. Among these were the Quapaw, Osage, and Caddo peoples. The Quapaw, who lived along the Mississippi River, were especially notable for their agricultural prowess, cultivating crops like corn, beans, and squash. They lived in villages characterized by large, communal homes and were skilled in pottery and trade. The Osage and Caddo peoples, who lived further west, were known for their hunting and trading networks that extended across vast territories. The Osage controlled much of the territory that later became Arkansas, while the Caddo inhabited the southwestern region. These tribes were not only key to the early history of Arkansas but were also part of complex social and trade networks that connected them to other Native American groups across North America. Arkansas's indigenous history laid a strong foundation for the state, with the region's rivers serving as vital transportation and trade routes. These native peoples played a crucial role in shaping the early landscape and would later interact, and in many cases, clash with European settlers. 2. European exploration and colonial era. The first Europeans to explore Arkansas were the Spanish, led by the conquistador Hernando de Soto, who crossed into the region in 1541 while searching for gold and riches. However, it was the French who established the first lasting European presence in Arkansas. By the late 17th century, Arkansas was part of the vast French colonial territory known as Louisiana. In 1686, Henri de Tonty founded Arkansas Post, the first permanent European settlement in the region. Arkansas Post served as an important trading hub between the French and Native American tribes, particularly the Quapaw. The French presence in the region brought new goods and technologies, but also diseases that decimated native populations. Over time, Arkansas became a center for the fur trade, with French trappers and traders establishing relationships with local tribes. Despite the growth of European influence, the region remained sparsely populated throughout the colonial period. Control of Arkansas shifted between France and Spain in the late 18th century as part of broader European conflicts, but the territory largely remained a frontier outpost, far removed from the more developed areas of colonial America. 3. Territorial Arkansas, 1803 to 1836. In 1803, the Louisiana Purchase brought Arkansas under the control of the United States. The vast acquisition of land by the U.S. government from France included the territory that would become Arkansas. With this new ownership, the U.S. government began encouraging settlement in the region, offering land grants to pioneers willing to farm the land and build communities. Arkansas became a separate U.S. territory in 1819, with its capital initially located at Arkansas Post before being moved to Little Rock in 1821. The territory grew rapidly as settlers, many of whom came from neighboring southern states, moved westward in search of fertile land. Agriculture, particularly cotton farming, became the backbone of the economy, and with it came the expansion of slavery. The displacement of Native American tribes also accelerated during this period, as settlers encroached on their lands. The U.S. government enacted policies of forced removal, pushing tribes like the Quapaw out of Arkansas and further west. This era of territorial expansion set the stage for Arkansas's eventual statehood, but it also marked the beginning of a long history of conflict and displacement for Native Americans in the region. 4. Statehood and antebellum Arkansas, 1836 to 1860. On June 15, 1836, Arkansas was admitted to the Union as the 25th state. The state's economy continued to grow, driven primarily by agriculture, with cotton being the most important crop. Slavery became deeply entrenched in Arkansas society, with large plantations dominating the landscape in the fertile river valleys. However, Arkansas remained largely rural, and most farms were small operations worked by poor white families or slaves. The state's economy was highly dependent on the Mississippi River for transportation and trade, linking it to the larger Southern economy. The antebellum period was also marked by increasing tensions over the issue of slavery. As the nation moved closer to civil war, Arkansas found itself divided between those who supported the institution of slavery and secession, and those who favored remaining in the Union. These internal divisions would come to a head in the years to come, as Arkansas faced the challenges of Civil War and Reconstruction. 5. Civil War and Reconstruction, 1861 to 1874. When the Civil War broke out in 1861, Arkansas initially hesitated to secede from the Union. However, after President Abraham Lincoln called for troops to suppress the Southern Rebellion, Arkansas officially joined the Confederacy. The state became a key battleground during the war, with several important battles taking place on its soil, including the Battle of Pea Ridge in 1862, which helped the Union maintain control over neighboring Missouri. The war had a devastating impact on Arkansas, destroying much of its infrastructure and economy. The Union's occupation of large parts of the state led to deep political and social divisions, which continued long after the war ended. After the Confederacy's defeat in 1865, Arkansas was placed under military rule during Reconstruction. The state faced enormous challenges in rebuilding its economy and society, especially as newly freed African Americans sought to claim their rights in the face of violent resistance from white supremacist groups. Reconstruction brought significant changes to Arkansas, including the passage of new laws granting civil rights to African Americans and the establishment of public schools. However, these gains were short-lived, as the end of Reconstruction in 1874 saw the rise of Jim Crow laws and the reassertion of white dominance through segregation and disenfranchisement. 6. Late 19th century, economic recovery and growth. In the decades following Reconstruction, Arkansas slowly began to rebuild its economy. The expansion of railroads played a critical role in this recovery, allowing farmers to transport their goods to markets more efficiently. Cotton remained the dominant crop, but the state also saw growth in other industries, including timber and mining. Small towns began to sprout up along the new rail lines, while Little Rock grew into an important commercial center. The rise of industrial agriculture brought prosperity to some, but many poor farmers, particularly African Americans and tenant farmers, continued to struggle in a system of sharecropping that kept them in a cycle of poverty and debt. Despite these challenges, Arkansas continued to grow, and by the end of the 19th century, it was becoming more integrated into the national economy. However, the state remained one of the poorest in the nation, with deep social and economic divides between rich landowners and the laboring classes. 7. Early 20th century, progressivism and change. The early 20th century brought both progress and hardship to Arkansas. The state embraced elements of the national progressive movement, with reforms aimed at improving infrastructure, public health, and education. Governor Jeff Davis, a populist leader, pushed for these reforms, although his legacy is also marked by his staunch support of segregation and racial discrimination. The agricultural economy remained vulnerable to external shocks, and the Great Depression of the 1930s hit Arkansas particularly hard. The collapse of cotton prices and widespread drought led to mass unemployment and poverty, especially among sharecroppers and tenant farmers. During this period, New Deal programs helped bring some relief to Arkansas, with federal investments in infrastructure and rural electrification. These changes set the stage for greater industrialization and modernization in the decades to come. 8. World War II and post-war Arkansas. World War II brought significant changes to Arkansas. The establishment of military bases and training camps across the state helped boost the economy, while Arkansas's agricultural output contributed to the war effort. After the war, the state saw a period of rapid economic growth as veterans returned home and new industries, such as manufacturing and services, began to emerge. Little Rock became a hub of economic activity, and the state's population began to grow. This era also saw the rise of influential political figures, such as Senator J. William Fulbright, who became one of the most prominent voices in American foreign policy during the Cold War. 9. Civil Rights Era and Modernization. In 1957, Arkansas became the center of national attention during the Little Rock crisis, when Governor Orville Faubus resisted the desegregation of Little Rock Central High School. The defiance led to President Dwight D. Eisenhower sending federal troops to enforce the desegregation order, marking a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. The civil rights era brought significant social changes to Arkansas, although progress was slow and often met with fierce resistance. Over time, the state moved away from its segregationist past and began to embrace modernization. By the late 20th century, Arkansas had diversified its economy, with sectors like healthcare, technology, and retail, notably Walmart, becoming key drivers of growth. 10. Contemporary Arkansas, Growth and Challenges. Today, Arkansas is a state that balances its rich historical heritage with the challenges of modern growth. While agriculture remains important, Arkansas has also become a center for business, with Walmart, headquartered in Bentonville, driving much of the state's economic success. However, the state continues to face challenges, including poverty, education disparities, and rural healthcare access. Nevertheless, Arkansas remains a vital part of the American story, continually evolving and shaping the nation's future. Closing summary. Arkansas's history is a reflection of the broader American experience, with periods of growth, conflict, and transformation. From its Native American roots to its role in the civil rights movement, Arkansas continues to play a vital role in shaping the nation's future. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Arkansas's past.